Bien- Bienvenidos a Spotlight. I am Jorge Merced, Associate Artistic Director at Pregones Puerto Rican Traveling Theater. And on behalf of our entire family of artists and cultural workers, thank you for joining our weekly series showcasing creatives at work. This episode features an in-depth look at the careers of Pregones Ensemble members Chad Carstarphen and Cedric Leiba Jr. They first performed together of our musical Neon Baby. Since then, they have shared the stage in some of the company's most popular productions, as well as building an impressive resume of regional and international engagements. Cedric joined the national tours of Rent, Miss Saigon, and performed in Carmen la Cubana at Théâtre du Châtelet in Paris. His television and film credits are many. You may recognize him from his starring role in HBO's High Maintenance. Chad Carstarphen has a BFA in acting from NYU Tisch. He joined the first national tour of In the Heights, and he also joined the cast of several major regional and New York-based productions. He recently starred in John Leguizamo's Kiss My Aztec at Berkeley Rep and La Jolla Playhouse. Gracias por estar con nosotros y disfruten de este episodio de Spotlight.
Hi, my name is Chad Carstarphen, and I'm from the Bronx, New York, right off of Fordham and Cedric Avenue.
Hi, my name is Cedric Leiba Jr. I am from Santurce, Puerto Rico. Me crié en Isla Verde, Carolina, in Puerto Rico. And when I was 12, I moved to Deltona, Florida. So I also rep Florida because that's still home when I go and visit my parents.
I am an artist, mainly an actor in theater, TV, film, voiceover work, as well as a singer, and I'm also getting into comedy writing too.
I am an actor, I am a performer, I am an activist. I've recently become an activist, really wanting to push the Afro-Latinx narrative. I'm a singer, I'm a dancer, I'm a poet, I'm a songwriter, whatever you need me to be. The first time I realized I was going to be an artist, I think, was when I was in second grade in Episcopal Cathedral School in Santurce, Puerto Rico. My teacher entered me into the talent show, and the talent show was specifically just for the high school students. And I just remember singing, not really being nervous, and just showing up. I was the last talent to perform that night, and the reaction from the audience, I remember being like, wow, I have something special to offer the world. And not only that, but I have a gift or a talent to make people feel good and happy. So I think that was the first time I realized, wait, there's something to this magic, and I want to further see where this takes me.
The first time I realized I was going to be an artist, I was about 10 years old. My mom had an amazing black film collection back when everyone had VHS tapes. And I would study these films and recreate the scenes and say the lines in my bedroom. I was an only child, so I had a lot of time on my hands to be creative. And my mom paid attention. And one day I said to her, I was like, I want to be an actor. My mother and grandfather once owned a record company, a small boutique record company called T Electric. This is in the late 70s. And my father, he's no longer here. He passed away, but he was a songwriter, producer, and wrote many songs. His name was Victor Carstarphen, and he was also the keyboard and musical director for The Temptations for quite a few years. So the idea of me jumping into entertainment was like, oh, I don't know. But eventually she saw something and saw how creative I was, and we agreed. She spoke to my grandparents, who found me a talent manager. And so began my start as a child actor, I guess.
So what I like best of what I do is mainly, it's just that service, that inspiration that art creates in people, and that instant gratification, that instant moment, that connection with people through art, and how my art specifically inspires and motivates and uplifts people.
What I like best about what I do is being able to tell stories and really have the opportunity to bring my energy to bring a story to life. There's something really exciting about that and quite cathartic.
Welcome back, friends. Please take off your shoes, get comfortable, and let's get going. Sit back, relax. We've got a lot to do. Are you there? Can you hear me? It's me, your buddy. Welcome back. Well, now you're going to find the magical object to save our city. Please sit tight while I patch you through to... It is your job to find the magical object to save this town.
If at any point telling stories and bringing my energy and being an artist becomes simple and boring, I think that's when I should retire. And luckily that hasn't happened yet.
If you don't want to touch a dirty doorknob, let me. If you don't want to turn in homework so you can sleep past 3, you don't have to let me.
When I create my art, I think I always approach it first musically or orally. I think because my connection to art first was music, singing, listening to music. And so I think I approach art that way first, like how it sounds and where the pauses, where are the ups, where are the downs, the highs and the lows. My first production at Pregones was Neon Baby. And I played the role of Juanito Extravaganza. And it's interesting to say I played the role because he was an actual person. So I embodied the role of Juanito.
And stone, finding home that keeps you safe, finding home, New York's bosom, finding home, her dull heart's ache, finding home, home, city's neon glow, home to find home, home, city's neon glow, home to find.
Basically what I read about him, as well as I got to meet his family and some of his friends and some of the members of the Extravaganza family. And yeah, it was really beautiful to go on that journey.
On that must fall, not one, but all. To give him hope. Holding down his love.
The whole thing was just so magical for me, I think, as a gay man, as an Afro-Latino, as a Latinx performer, as someone who studied musical theater, to be able to come into a space and embody the life of a Latino, someone who's like me, and to be able to sing and act and dance and do all those things, it felt like a really like a kismet moment, a serendipitous moment, a moment that, you know, it felt like I was supposed to be there. And so yeah, it was really magical, and to this day it's still like one of the highlights of my career. And I fell in love with the music and mainly just the story, and mainly because I connected with him so much.
Neon Baby was a very special show for me. It was my first introduction to Pregones, PRTT. And it was my first time really sort of having to do my research. I mean, we always do research as artists, right? But this was a specific world that I didn't want to misrepresent. And I knew I could do it, but I wanted to do it well, and also to bring joy and have fun while doing it.
You've come to walk.
Okay?
'Cause we've got Schoolboy and Banji Boy and our Butch Girl. All these little boys and girls running around without anyone to look after them. We all look fabulous, don't we? But we're manufactured from clouds and stardust. Jezebel in this elegant Gucci. You know that shit was stolen.
My character was a drag mother, house loosely based on the House of Extravaganza, the very iconic, legendary Latinx House of Extravaganza. And her name was Mama MC. Mama MC is not a real person, but created for this particular production. So there was freedom for me to just create who this person was. I knew that it was based on a book, and the amazing theater company just created this world, and Jorge was just like, this is what I want, and this is the show. And I first worked with the text, and then I heard the music and fell in love. And then I was able to do the research and watch and pull from everything. We had the audience of extravaganzas out there, and I'll never forget that. There was an energy just beaming from them. And I felt really proud to just represent this community. This is before Pose. You know, this is one of the first pieces of art in New York City representing this world. And to do that show every night was just such a joy. So that was truly probably the most amazing experience that I've had, still to this day.
I find inspiration, I think, first of all, spiritually. I was raised in the church. I found God in my teens, and so that has always been a part of me. And I think that that's always been a motivation of wanting to represent goodness in the world and represent a hope and a light. Being Boricua de Puerto Rico, being born on the island and experiencing that life, want to represent, want to do the best that I can do to bring light to what's happening on the island, bring light to our beautiful culture, our beautiful language, our beautiful people, how resilient we are.
A la orden, papi. Que tenga buenas noches.
Tú también. Yo prefiero pescar antes que salga el sol.
Aquí a las 6 de la mañana. No, hombre, no.
No, por aquí no. Allá en Puerto Rico.
¿De dónde? ¿San Juan?
No soy de Ponce.
Wow, qué lindo.
And right now, I truly find inspiration in what's happening. I find inspiration in protest. I find inspiration in death, because unfortunately that's been really heavy for me right now, especially this year. I find inspiration in life, in love. And this particular time during this pandemic, especially, it's really motivated me to keep going. And we're in a very specific time where a lot of art right now is being created through the medium of Zoom. And being able to contribute my talents to readings and concerts and even meetings without having people physically there has been such a different experience for me. But it's also allowed me to say like, hey, you know what? This is different, but we have to keep going and creating as artists. Just because, we are going through really tough times right now, the work has to keep going. We have to keep creating. We can't give up. And I think right now I've just found inspiration in life and being here. For me, Pregones is community and it's family. When I think of Pregones, I see it as somewhat like a magnetar. For those who don't know what a magnetar is, it's a type of neutron star that is believed to have extremely powerful magnetic field. And Pregones just attracts people. It brings in artists. It brings in people from the Bronx, people from New York City. It holds space for people to be seen. It also motivates people to create and to be heard and to keep going and to do better.
I think first of all, Pregones is family. I think being a Latinx performer, a Latinx artist, a Latinx actor who just wants to exist and want to tell stories and tell our stories. Been such a blessing to find a space where I can do that and be unapologetic about it. And it's so beautiful to find a space where people love you for who you are and who see your talent, who validate you. And that's what Pregones has been for me. It's been a place where I can tell my people's story. I can be my Puerto Rican, Afro-Latinx, gay self, and it's okay, and it's celebrated. And for me, it's just an honor to be a part of a theater that's so legendary in my eyes. The Marchers was a really beautiful moment, mainly because it was my first time performing at the Puerto Rican Traveling Theater. The biggest connection with the piece was to learn about Jesus Colon. Again, Jorge, my mentor, he gave me information, gave me research on him, and it was really insightful and motivating and eye-opening to read about him, his story, and to see that he was really ahead of the game as far as trying to push the Afro-Latinx narrative, as well as trying to make space for Latinx people, Boricuas, especially Boricuas who had just come here from the island. And it was just really nice to embody him and to speak his words. And I felt like it was an honor to represent his legacy.
My name is Jesus Colon Lopez, a postal clerk and a waiter, a journalist and an author, a dishwasher and a dock worker, yes, organizing kindred folk,
Founding member of La Liga Puertorriqueña, labor organizer, and president of Sociedad Fraternal Cervantes. Founding member and first secretary of the Alianza Obrera Puertorriqueña. I was born in the town of Calley, Puerto Rico.
I will not On January 20th, 1901.
I will not.
I studied high school in San Juan,
I will not.
but I came to New York before I finished.
I will not.
In New York, I worked my way through night school at Boys High, from where I
will
graduated.
not.
I attended St. John's University
I will
for a
not.
time, but did not complete
I will
a
not.
college degree.
I will not cooperate with this committee.
I did Harlem Hellfighters on a Latin beat, and I had never heard of this story. You know, I think it was really heartbreaking that growing up and learning history, these sort of things were not taught. And I became enamored with this story. First of all, the music is beautiful, so I couldn't wait to sing it. But also to play such a strong man on stage, strong black man, who contributed so much to history and music and Latin music as well. El Bolero was one of the shows that reminded me of something that my grandfather used to say to me growing up. He always said, there's no such thing as I can't. Eliminate that from your vocabulary. And I think that production was the first production where Pregones was like, listen, we believe in you. And me as a black actor who has never done a show in Spanish, let alone sing Bolero music, it truly made me, it instilled that there's no such thing as I can't. And I can do anything I put my mind towards.
The cinnamon powder on my face covers the skin's imperfections like a Muslim's veil. 2 round suns of coral rouge blush accentuate the cheekbones of this accursed Annalise. The bronze plastic makes the sudden light of a match reveal a beauty mark. The cream foundation allows the beads of sweat to look like delicate dewdrops. Like a tortured geisha, the clown white makes me even more unattainable.
You know, I really worked hard, and I was really grateful that the company was so patient with me, really patient, and took the time with me. That gave me a lot of comfort, you know, because I knew already that I could pull it off. The drag, I could pull it off. I was so grateful that I've had the experience of feeling so beautiful on stage, and then also playing characters where I had so much strength. I had the opportunity to play an iconic historical African-American man like Jim Europe. And to go from that right after Neon Baby, and then years later to come back to another role, a beautiful woman. And I never thought I'd have that opportunity again, but it was a different experience because I was speaking Spanish, because I was singing Spanish. And it really taught me that, like, I can do this. I can do anything I put my mind towards. And I'm forever grateful for the company for that.
So in Bolero, I played different roles, but the main one, or the standout one, was Nene Lindo. And it was cool because in that show, we were able to flow from female and masculine energy. And that was a moment to really live in the mental space of the lead in the show, and to embody this person who kind of messed her up.
Mama, baby, sweet thing. Why do you do this to me? Ours is one and the same destiny. And I almost shed a tear. Men, we dream of women at our most tearful and horny, and they swallow it whole. So much so that the slightest distraction between a rum and coke and a chichaito, you know rum and anisette, can turn a torch singer into a cheap drunk. So much so that a seductive songstress can settle for a shitty assembly line job at a maiden-form bra factory.
It was just really cool to be super macho and lead with my pelvis, you know, and lead with that papi chulo, thug life, guy, you know, on the corner energy that I don't always get to live in. I don't always get to be in that world.
I think it's very important to put an end to any art that diminishes, ignores, or misrepresents people right now, specifically people that are queer, trans, gender nonconforming, non-binary. You know, all these people deserve to be represented in a beautiful light and truthfully, and to hold space right now, as well as hold positions of power in art. And I think Pregones has always been very mindful of inclusion since its creation and continues to do that. And I think a lot of theaters in New York City and institutions need to catch up. And they need to catch up now, because we're moving forward and you have to be mindful of like what you're putting out there. And gone are the days where, you know, we aren't including people, you know, we're only telling this one version of a story. We have to stop that, you know. Artists are filled with all types of people. And I'm excited about where we're going in this world when it comes to being creatives and representing people. And I hope it continues, you know. There's a lot of talk and not a lot of people walking the walk, but when you put yourself in spaces that you fully trust and know are doing the work and have been doing the work, that's good. And this is one of those spaces.